Okay, everybody, this is the video a lot of you have probably been waiting for. Many of you may have just skipped right to it. If you skip to this video, that's cool, but you need to go back and watch the other videos too, because if you don't know how to apply tax rates and you don't know your distribution types, this video is not going to make a lot of sense to you. All right, so again, more forbidden knowledge. I hope you're enjoying it. If you do, smash the like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell so you can be notified. And at the very least, this knowledge needs to be known by everyone, right? So if you have people that you care about, friends, family, acquaintances, investment advisors, please do share this video on your social media feeds. Again, I keep saying it, but it's the truth. The more these videos get out into circulation, the harder it's going to be for Wall Street to continue to ignore the plight of 142 million people here in the United States who are affected by this. So anyway, let's get into this video. Let's look at how to calculate your loss each time you buy one of these securities. Okay, here it is. The formula that you won't find in your MBA school, in your Series 65 exams, in any securities license exams, in your CFA class, in your CFP. Why is this equation not known? We have to ask ourselves that question. Why is this equation not known by every single investor in the country? We live in a society with massive regulations on the securities industry. Why don't investors know this formula? I don't know the answer to that, but I'm going to give it to you because I think you deserve to have it. So here it goes. Pay attention and take notes. The equation to determine an investor loss is the number of shares you intend on purchasing or have purchased, multiplied by the estimated distribution per share, that's a dollar value, multiplied by the tax rate on that specific distribution. All right, let's talk about estimated distributions. This can get complicated. There are different types of dividends. Some accrue over the course of a period. Some are just fully baked in. The accrual dividends become a little bit hard to estimate. It requires multiple different calculations. I think for most of you, the best thing to do is just take the full dividend and include it in your calculation, because that's a worst case scenario, and then you're not undercutting yourself. You're getting the worst case scenario, and then you need to determine if that's a loss that you're willing to accept. All right, now this equation must be calculated for each type of distribution made. Again, prior video, multiple distribution types. This equation needs to be calculated for each type of distribution with its own unique tax rate, and then the sum of all of those calculations need to be added together. That's your total loss for each type of distribution, right? A note on capital gain distributions. Security issuers, they don't want you to know what these are. That's why you don't know what they are. You know what they are when they're paid and you wake up and you see that the NAV of your securities crashed 10%, you don't know why. That's capital gain distribution, right? So they make these distributions hard for you to get. Now, if you really want to get the distribution, you've got to call the security issuer, you've got to ask to speak to a portfolio manager, you wait on hold for an hour or two, maybe you get to somebody that gives it to you, maybe you don't. But that's how you get it. The other way you could get it is to just try to estimate it. You can look at historical capital gain distributions. You can find those on the security issuer's website or sometimes Bloomberg, something like that, and you can make an estimate. But again, in a world that's supposed to have disclosure, why don't you know about a capital gain distribution? Because essentially that is a liability that's being attached to the security that you're buying that you will own once you buy it. Now you're going to owe tax on income you never earned, right? Those capital gain distributions were incurred before you bought the fund. You shouldn't be responsible for that tax, but you are. All right, let's look at how this works. So let's assume that you have a security that will pay a $2 dividend, an $8 long-term capital gain, and a $2 short-term capital gain. All right, those are our estimates for whenever we're calculating this. And we're going to purchase 10,000 shares. We're going to run our equation on the dividend. 10,000 shares times a $2 dividend times a 20% tax rate, $4,000 loss. Long-term capital gain, 10,000 times $8 per share times 0.2, 20% tax rate is $16,000. And on the short-term capital gain, 10,000 times 2 times 0.4 equals $8,000. You add up the 4, the 16, and the 8, you just lost $28,000. How does that make you feel? As soon as you buy this security, you're inheriting a $28,000 liability. That is not my opinion, folks. That is the truth. That is just math. And no investment fund auditor, no security issuer can deny this. This is fact. This is frightening. okay? And this happens with every single trade you make. Of course, the assumptions and the calculations are gonna be different, but every trade you make in a taxable account, you're losing some amount of money. Now, we're gonna show you that it's not the present value of this $28,000, it's the future value, right? We're gonna get into that in the next video. All right, $28,000 loss on one purchase. How many securities are you gonna buy in your lifetime? Let me ask. Some of you might be buying securities every 2 weeks. It's a big problem. So anytime anybody tells you that our markets are fair and efficient, when the SEC is out there saying that we create fair and efficient markets, you just tell them that our markets have never been fair and they've never been efficient. And if you really want to look at the markets, like we're doing in these videos, what you find is that our markets are punitive. They're punitive. In the next video, we're going to look at the bigger picture. Okay, so that was one trade. So the question that becomes, and I get asked this a lot, what are the aggregate losses of everyone, right? Because today, the amount of volume that's going to go off in one of these exchanges is incredible, right? And each share that's traded in a taxable account is going to have some liability attached to it. What is the sum total of all those liabilities over every day of the year over 20,000 or more securities, right? I don't really know the answer to that question, but I'm going to try to get you close in the next video. So stay tuned.